Right now, this exact second, roughly 100,000 of your own cells are being quietly executed. Not by a virus, not by bacteria. By your immune system itself. And it is doing it on purpose to keep you alive. Fact number 1. Your body destroys 100,000 cells every single second, on purpose. This process has a name that sounds almost poetic for something so brutal, apoptosis. It means programmed cell death. Every single second of your life, your immune system scans your body's cells, identifies ones that are damaged, infected, or showing early signs of turning cancerous, and triggers a built-in self-destruct sequence inside them. The cell essentially folds in on itself, packages its own wreckage into neat little bundles, and gets cleaned up without spilling its contents everywhere. Scientists at the Salk Institute calculated that a human body performs this controlled demolition on somewhere between 50 billion and 70 billion cells every single day. That is not a typo. 50 to 70 billion. If even a fraction of those cells refused to die, if the self-destruct signal failed, those rogue cells would keep dividing. That is, almost exactly, how cancer begins. Your immune system is not just your defense force. It is also your internal demolition crew, running a silent controlled explosion every second you breathe. And you have never felt a single one. Visual note: display a clean infographic showing the apoptosis cycle, color-coded stages, scan, signal, fold, clean up, over a neutral cellular diagram background. No graphic imagery. Fact number 2, a single neutrophil can chase, catch, and destroy bacteria in under 60 seconds. Neutrophils are your immune system's first responders, the fastest, most aggressive white blood cells in your body, and what they do when they find a pathogen is genuinely one of the most remarkable things in all of biology. When bacteria breach your skin, chemical alarm signals called cytokines flood the local tissue. Neutrophils detect these signals and begin chemotaxis, a guided chase through your bloodstream and tissue at speeds of up to 30 micrometers per minute. That sounds small, but scaled to the neutrophil's own body size, it is the equivalent of a human sprinting at over 30 miles per hour through a crowded city. Once the neutrophil reaches its target, it engulfs the bacterium in a process called phagocytosis, literally swallowing it whole, and then detonates a cloud of toxic chemicals including hydrogen peroxide and hypochlorous acid, which is essentially bleach, inside the engulfed pocket. The entire hunt-chase-kill sequence? Documented in live microscopy studies at Harvard Medical School in 2019 at under 60 seconds start to finish. Your body has billions of these things circling your bloodstream right now. Visual note: show a speed comparison infographic, neutrophil pursuit path overlaid on a color-coded diagram of tissue cross-section. Use arrow animations and timing bars. Fact number 3, your immune system has a memory that outlives most technology. Here is something that should genuinely stun you. Scientists analyzing blood samples from survivors of the 1918 Spanish flu, the pandemic that killed up to 50 million people, discovered in a landmark 2008 study published in the journal Nature that those survivors, some of them nearly 100 years old at the time, still had functioning B memory cells that could recognize and respond to the 1918 H1N1 influenza strain. Let that sink in. These people had immune memory that was 90 years old and still operational. Memory B cells and memory T cells, created after your first exposure to a pathogen or vaccine, can persist for decades, potentially for your entire life. The mechanism? These memory cells enter a kind of low-energy survival mode, occasionally dividing just enough to replenish their numbers without ever forgetting their original target. Your immune system is, in the most literal biological sense, writing detailed enemy profiles and filing them in a library that can stay open for a century. No hard drive humanity has ever built comes close to that kind of long-term, self-maintaining data storage. Visual note: timeline infographic, horizontal bar from 1918 to 2008, annotated with memory cell persistence markers. Clean archival style design, no footage. Fact number 4, your body produces 10 million different antibody shapes before it ever meets a single germ. This one broke scientific understanding so badly when it was first proposed that Nobel laureate Susumu Tonegawa won the 1987 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine specifically for proving it. Here is the problem scientists faced: The human genome contains roughly 20,000 to 25,000 genes. But your immune system can produce antibodies in more than 10 million distinct molecular shapes, each one a different key designed to lock onto a different pathogen. How does 25,000 genes generate 10 million shapes? The answer is gene recombination. Your B cells take modular gene segments, called V, D, and J segments, and randomly shuffle and recombine them like a molecular card deck every time a new B cell is born. The combinatorial math of shuffling these segments produces astronomical variety. And here is the part that sounds completely impossible. Your body pre-generates this entire library of antibody shapes before it has ever encountered a single foreign invader. It is preparing keys for locks it has never seen. It is, in every meaningful sense, predicting the future, and it does it through pure biological randomness that somehow works. Visual note: use a color-coded combinatorial diagram showing VDJ gene segments mixing like puzzle pieces, producing varied antibody silhouettes. Keep it infographic style. Fact number 5. Your gut contains 70% of your entire immune system. When most people think about the immune system, they picture the bloodstream. White blood cells. Lymph nodes. But the single largest concentration of immune tissue in your entire body is sitting in your digestive tract right now. It is called GALT, gut-associated lymphoid tissue, and it accounts for approximately 70% of your body's total immune cell population according to research from Johns Hopkins University. Why? Because your gut is the border crossing between the outside world and your body's interior. Every piece of food you eat carries foreign molecules, and your gut immune system must make one of biology's most complex decisions millions of times a day. Is this a threat, or is this food? Is this bacteria dangerous, or is this one of the 38 trillion beneficial microbes I need to stay alive? This decision-making is so sophisticated it has its own name, oral tolerance. And when it fails, when the gut immune system starts misidentifying harmless substances as threats, the result is conditions like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and food allergies. 70%. The battlefield is not your bloodstream. It is your stomach. Visual note: anatomical diagram of the digestive tract with color-highlighted GALT regions. Use percentage breakdown chart alongside. Strictly educational illustration style. Fact number 6. Natural killer cells decide whether to kill your own body's cells using a password system. Natural killer cells, NK cells, are one of the most extraordinary things in your body. Unlike other immune cells that need to be told specifically what an enemy looks like, NK cells operate on a fundamentally different and more chilling logic. Every healthy cell in your body constantly displays a molecular signal on its surface called MHC class. I think of it as an identity badge that says, in molecular language, I am normal. Do not kill me. NK cells patrol your body constantly, physically touching cells and checking for this badge. If the badge is present and correct, the NK cell moves on. If the badge is missing, because a cancer cell or virus-infected cell has stopped displaying it to hide from other immune cells, the NK cell interprets the silence as a death sentence and releases perforin, a protein that punches holes in the target cell's membrane, followed by enzymes called granzymes that trigger instant apoptosis. The password system works both ways: say the right thing, live. Say nothing, die. Scientists at Stanford confirmed in 2017 that some tumor cells have evolved to partially fake this signal, an immune arms race happening at the molecular level inside cancer patients right now. Visual note: infographic diagram showing MHCI badge present versus absent on cell surface diagrams. Use color contrast: green for healthy signal, red for missing signal. Arrow pointing to NK cell response. Fact number 7. Your immune system once nearly wiped itself out trying to fight a theoretical virus in a lab. In 2001, Australian researchers at the Australian National University made one of the most alarming accidental discoveries in immunology history. They were working with mousepox, a mouse-specific virus that does not affect humans, and genetically inserted a single extra gene, interleukin-4 or IL-4, into the virus, intending to create a mouse contraceptive. What they got instead was a virus so lethal it killed every single mouse in the experiment, including mice that had been fully vaccinated against mousepox. The IL-4 gene had turbocharged the virus's ability to suppress a specific arm of the immune system, the CD8 plus T-cell response, so completely that the immune system's memory became useless. A virus the mice's bodies had seen before and knew how to fight was suddenly invisible to their defenses. The study, published in the Journal of Virology in 2001, sent shockwaves through the global biosecurity community because the implication was devastating. It demonstrated that a single inserted gene could theoretically convert a known, manageable pathogen into something that breaks immune memory entirely. The researchers themselves immediately reported the discovery to biosecurity authorities. Visual note, timeline graphic with annotation markers, gene insertion point, immune suppression cascade, outcome. Use flowchart infographic with color-coded immune response bars dropping to 0. No laboratory footage. Fact number 8. Your immune system is so precise it can theoretically recognize over 1 quintillion unique molecular shapes. We saved the number that genuinely sounds fake for last. When immunologists calculated the full theoretical antigen recognition capacity of the human adaptive immune system, factoring in B-cell antibody combinations, T-cell receptor variability, and the additional diversity created by a process called junctional diversity, where random nucleotides are inserted at gene segment junctions during recombination, the number they arrived at exceeded 10 to the power of 18. That is 1 quintillion. 1 followed by 18 zeros. For context, the number of stars in the observable universe is estimated at around 10 to the power of 24, 1 septillion. So your immune system's recognition library is 1 million times smaller than the number of stars, but it is still a quintillion distinct molecular shapes crammed into the immune cells of a single human body. The pathogen that could defeat this system by presenting a shape your immune cells have literally never encountered in their combinatorial library would have to be extraordinarily bizarre. Scientists at MIT's Ragon Institute noted in 2022 that this is precisely why novel engineered pathogens represent a unique threat class. They can, in theory, fall outside the quintillion. But for everything nature has thrown at humanity for 300,000 years of Homo sapiens history? Your immune system had a key precut and waiting. Visual note, scale comparison infographic, immune recognition capacity versus stars in observable universe. Use logarithmic scale bar chart with color-coded magnitude markers. Clean, academic layout. And there it is. Right now, inside your body, a quintillion shape recognition system is running a 100,000 kills per second cleanup operation while neutrophils sprint through your tissue at the equivalent of 30 miles per hour. NK cells check password badges on every cell they touch, and a memory library built 90 years ago in a flu survivor is still perfectly readable. You are not just a person. You are a civilization at war with itself and winning every single moment. Subscribe to Moonlit Minds for daily mind-blowing facts that will change how you see the world.